In the construction world, the CECA publishes several key documents, notably the Schedule of Day Works and the Schedule of Contractors' Equipment Rates for use in contracts. These rates act as an industry benchmark for incidental work, or plant and equipment items when specific contract rates haven't been agreed. In other words, if a contract doesn't fix a rate for a particular piece of plant, or a variation arises, the CECA schedule provides a widely used fallback. So, why do they matter for quantity surveyors? So we'll start with pricing variations or compensation events. In NEC contracts, you often need to assess defined cost, or quantify the cost of additional or omitted works. The CECA equipment or plant rates often provide the baseline that contractors or clients use. Let's look at the next point. Contract data Part 2 adjustments. You may need to specify a percentage adjustment, positive or negative, to the CECA rates, depending on the region, your own plant fleet, your efficiency, etc. Next, we look at benchmarking. It can be used for tendering or variation negotiations. You need to know whether your plant rates, labour arrangements, are in line with the industry norms. Using CECA gives you a credible baseline. And finally, looking at contractual clarity. If the contract data lists CECA Schedule of Equipment Rates, then these rates apply. If not, you might want to negotiate an alternative method, for example, using your supplier's invoices plus an uplift. Now let's look at the recent changes and trends. The CECA itself, we'll actually stop there. You're probably wondering why I keep saying the CECA. And the reason is because CECA stands for the Civil Engineering Contractors Association. So when I state the CECA, I'm saying this is the organisation, the Civil Engineering Contractors Association. And when we state CECA rates, I'm talking about a specific document. Anyway, let's get back into it. So the CECA has commented on cost escalation pressures. For example, a press release dated on the 24th of May 2022 notes that in light of rapid cost increases, the CECA published new rates less than 2.5 years after its last revision in 2019. Now that's much faster than the typical 7-year update cycle. This signals to us as QS professionals that rate bases can shift rapidly and that building in contingency or contractual mechanisms is wise. So let's look at some practical tips. When you're drafting or reviewing Contract Data Part 2 in NEC, check whether the CECA rates are referenced for equipment or plant. If so, consider whether you need to apply an adjustment to reflect your specific fleet or region. Secondly, where a compensation event arises and the plant or plant hire part refers to CECA, clarify whether the CECA rate already includes for profit or head office or overheads. It often does, so this avoids double counting. If your contract doesn't reference CECA, you'll need to agree how plant rates will be assessed. Are we looking at supplier invoices, actual cost plus uplift, or some other schedule? Be clear in your contract data or scheduler cost components. And finally, monitor when CECA issues updated schedules. So, for example, the last one was April 2022, because using outdated rates may leave you exposed to cost escalation. So, in short, CECA rates equal the industry benchmark rates used for plant or equipment and day works where the contract rates are not fixed. For a QS operating in a civil engineering space or infrastructure, they are a critical reference, especially under an NEC, ECC type of contract, in variation or CE assessments, and when benchmarking cost and risk. Look at this document. Focus on this document. It's important.